Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the 22nd Street Bridge Revitalization Project public meeting. This is our first meeting to talk about the plan ahead. So we really are glad that you are here with us tonight. My name is Erica Frizzell. I am a Public Information Officer with the City of Tucson Department of Transportation and Mobility. And before we begin, just want to go over a couple housekeeping items. If you could just stay muted throughout the presentation, there will be a chance after the presentation for a question and answer session. There's also the ability to chat in your questions in the chat box on the right. This meeting is recorded and we will post it on the project website for anyone who is not able to attend, or if you would just like to rewatch it. We just want to make sure that we're able to answer all of your questions during this 1-hour meeting. And with that, I thank you all for being here, and I'm going to turn it over to our project manager, Austin Westminster.
Thanks, Erica. Go ahead and pull up our presentation. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us tonight as well. I know it's been a long time coming, and we're nearing the starting line, so it's really exciting. Good to go out, Erica?
Yes.
Excellent. So first, I'd like to introduce our project team. Our designers are AECOM. We have a construction oversight admin team, RSNH. We have selected our construction manager at risk contractor, OPS constructors. That stands for Old Pueblo Segmental Constructors, and they're a joint venture between Malcolm International and K&G, and we'll give them a chance in a little bit to introduce themselves and as we move through this presentation. The next thing, really want to thank all of our project partners. A big reason why we're able to get to this step is because we were recently awarded the RAISE grant by the FHWA and the U.S. Department of Transportation, and of course our local funding partners in the RTA, as well as Pima County. And we've been working closely with ADOT as this project clearly goes over aviation, and the big partner as well is the Union Pacific Railroad, as we're going to be directly impacting the rail yard here in Tucson. Brief project description. The history of this bridge project started back in 2009. The bridge was constructed in 1966. It's currently load rated for 30,000 pounds must exit now. It's highly congested. It's been a division line providing a blocking route for people and connectivity throughout the community. And I believe that this project really is going to provide the opportunity to connect these neighborhoods and connect the east and west side of Tucson via 22nd Street. And probably one of the most exciting things, since I'm a bridge engineer at heart, is that we're going to be building the second segmental bridge in Arizona, the first one being up near Mesa. But this is a very unique construction process and building, bridges, and it's something that we're going to be proud of moving forward. So I'd like to turn it over to our segmental team, our OPS constructors, and let them kind of introduce themselves and go over what segmental bridge construction is going to be like for us. Mike?
All right, thanks, Austin. So my name is Mike Wold. I'm the project manager for Old Pueblo Segmental Constructors. Like Austin mentioned, we're a joint venture of two companies. The first being Malcolm International. We're a construction company based out of California, specializing in technical bridge construction. Our folks have built technical bridges and these types of structures from coast to coast including Hawaii and Canada. Most recently, a project right next door in New Mexico. And we are partnered with KE&G Construction, a local Tucson-based company who's been doing business here for the last 50 years, specializing in heavy civil and utility construction. And combined, we have all the skills necessary to deliver a successful construction project for the city.
Thanks, Mike. The next slide that we have here is a short video, and I'll have Mike walk us through. It really highlights all the different details in segmental construction.
Yeah, you bet. So this is it's a great animation. It's actually put together by RS&H, who's doing the construction admin for the city. Goes into really good detail about how this method works. So it all starts with the bridge foundation and the vertical pier. And then the first typical section of bridge superstructure, which we call the pier table, just built using conventional false work and formwork similar to any other box girder type structure. On 22nd Street, these will be 40-foot long, will be cast in 3 pours, and they will support the form traveler system. So the form traveler system is the contraption that you see being assembled on the screen right now. It's mounted to the previously built section of the bridge, and it holds up the forms to build typical 16-foot segments. Each segment then has steel cables run through them, called these post-tensioning tendons. The cables are anchored at each end and are stretched with a hydraulic ram, which compresses the bridge structure, sucks the new segment into the previously built section of bridge, makes the bridge very sturdy. And then every tendon will get filled full with grout, which protects the steel cables from corrosion. So once the segment is cast and post-tension, then the form traveler is advanced on rails. And a new typical 16-foot segment is cast. And then you can see the cantilever being advanced, always being cast on, the segments are always being cast on opposite ends of the cantilever. It keeps that structure balanced, minimizes the loads going down through the pier table into the foundation. And then at the abutments, there's a end span, which is also built on conventional false work. And then the sections are stitched together in a closure pour, and the whole span post-tensioned. See the process being repeated on the next cantilever. See, the advantages of this method are that it's very low impact to the ground below. After the whole bridge is complete and the barriers are installed and can be open to traffic. But again, it's very low impact. It's a great method for building over railroads, highways, any other body of water. So the work is totally contained overhead. And again, just reduces the impact to the everything that's happening below.
Thanks, Mike. And with that, being that this has been such a long time and a long project, as we got our construction manager at risk on board, we've been working over the last year, developing the most efficient ways to bring this project to fruition. And we've made a few changes, and to really highlight them, I think the biggest one I consider kind of the soul of the bridge project was the pedestrian access and the pedestrian bridge. We've got some renderings here that show what the intent that we're moving towards right now. And we do have some folks on today that will be able to walk us through the model. Paul, are you on?
Yes, yeah, I'm here.
Would you like to bring up the model and show some
Sure.
isometric views and stuff for us?
You bet.
If I will stop presenting.
Can you see the model?
There we go. Perfect.
Yeah,
Excellent.
so we're on the west side right now in the model. And so if you want me to move through it a little bit?
Yeah, that'd be fine. You can go and I'll discuss a bit. So right here we can see that we have a crosswalk that's going north, and one of the key aspects of getting pedestrians across the bridge and onto their routes was to keep the pedestrian bridge in the middle of the two structures, but then provide hawk accesses on either side of the bridge to um, safely move pedestrians through this facility. And you can kind of see the intent going up and over. It's protected both. You can go ahead and go up and over, Paul.
Okay.
Spacing these shade structures out throughout the length of the bridge was intended so that we could have reprieve from the long walk across, or the long ride across these bridges. They're over 1,000 feet long, and the hawks will go from hawk to hawk. It's roughly 2,500 feet, and so it's gonna take a while for folks to get across. So we really wanted to make sure that we provided, a safe and a place for people to take refuge if it is in the middle of the summertime. The panels in the shade structures were provided and designed by our artist that was involved at the very beginning. We've replicated the panel work throughout, and we're hoping to really highlight the design aspect of that. And if we go, we can move up and fly over and kind of take a look at um, the next portion there. And as you can see, as we get up, we're moving our way towards Plummer there to the north of 22nd Street on your left-hand side there. And then on your right-hand side there, Wilson Avenue is going to be reconnected to 22nd Street as a part of the original design assumptions. The congestion within ramps that move from Aviation to 22nd Street created a bottleneck in an unsafe area. So that was actually changed to a cul-de-sac, and with some of our design changes that we're making, we're able to actually create a safer space and reconnect Wilson Avenue to 22nd Street. And that hawk will be there to kind of create a rather large pelican crossing. But I really appreciate that fly through, Paul.
Sure.
And
You-
I'll probably call on you in a little bit to bring it back up, as questions I'm sure are going to come up, and we can show some more of the aspects of that.
Okay, I'll stop sharing.
No worries. Thanks.
Thanks.
So like I said, we're really trying to create that connectivity and create a safe and reliable way to move pedestrians across both Aviation and the Union Pacific Rail Yard. I want to now turn it over to Erica, and she can discuss how we're moving forward with the community outreach.
Yeah, hello again, Erica Frizella. So one of our jobs is to keep the community aware of all of the, sorry, is to keep the community aware of this project as it progresses. And we do that in multiple ways. So we are sending out news releases, notification letters to those homes and businesses around the area, message boards. You may have seen we shared this public meeting via the message boards on 22nd Street, as well as public meetings. So we have a sign-in sheet in the chat. If you would include your name and email address, that allows you to be on our listserv. And that way we can get you guys our notification letters, our news releases, and any updates on the project quickly and as soon as they come up. We also have a project website. So if you scan that QR code, I'll also put the link in the chat as well, so it's easy to access. And on there, we will update with any documentation, any information, and updates on the project as it progresses. And then we also get a lot of information out on our social media. So if that's the easiest way for you guys to follow along, those are our social media handles. And there's always great pictures and updates on there as well. I also want to introduce Michael Graham.
Thanks, Erica. Mike Graham here. I work with Erica in the strategic communications division within the transportation and mobility department with the city of Tucson. And I really don't have anything else to add, Erica.
Yeah, so with that, follow us and we will do our best to share information throughout this project with all of you. And from here, I'm going to send it over to our Main Street Business Assistance Program, Britton and Steve.
Thanks, Erica. My name is Britton Dornquist. I'm the program manager for the Main Street Business Assistance Program. We're part of the RTA plan and have worked with 9,600 businesses on over 60 major projects across the region over the last 15 years. Our services are free to all the businesses, so my comments are really focused primarily to the business community tonight. Encourage you to go to our website at mainstreetinfo.org. Look at the types of services that we provide. Again, they're all free of charge. And we would love to meet with you, talk about what we can provide for you as part of our program, what kinds of experience that we bring to the table. Over 100 years of construction mitigation with our team, and meet with you privately and confidentially, and go over what the expectations might be, how the project might affect you. Every business will be affected differently, and we have a lot of experience that we can bring forward. Our outreach liaison for this project is Steve Taylor. Steve's been with the team for the last 15 years and has worked on about 20 of those big regional projects. Many of our projects go as long as a decade in length in terms of the planning, the design, and the actual physical construction. We've been on projects that have been in construction over 4 years. So we have a lot of experience. Steve is very experienced in this. He can be reached at the email 22nd@mainstreetinfo.org, or just give him a jingle on his phone. You can also reach me anytime on the phone, but I really encourage you to go to the website. There's some great information there in the frequently asked questions. You get an understanding of our program and our services and what we provide and how we can be assistance to you to get to the other side of this project successfully. And that's really what I have to share tonight. Steve, do you have anything else you'd like to add if you're there?
No, I don't. You covered it well. So I've been out talking to all the businesses in the area. So hopefully several of them are attending this meeting as well. But nothing to add.
The last thing I would tack on is we do send out all the information that is provided within the project, traffic notices, alerts. We'll often segments of our list to let people know. So if you are not getting emails from us, please shoot an email over to Steve at 22nd@mainstreetinfo.org and get on our email list. We send out just project related information. The list remains confidential and you won't be spammed with a bunch of nonsense, just project related stuff. And you can contact Steve or I anytime to get additional information, clarity. Love to meet with you at your business and spend more time helping you understand what we can provide and the kinds of services that we make available to you free of charge. And with that, I'll pass it on to, I think, back to Austin. Are you taking it?
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Really appreciate your guys' efforts. So the big thing most of you probably curious and want to know about is the construction timeline. And when we anticipate getting started. And I'll shortly here turn it back over to Mike to kind of go through the phasing aspects of it. They have another pretty neat little video that shows it all, but we're looking to start construction in the spring of 23. It's roughly a 2.5 to 3 year project. And Mike, cue up your video and just let me know if you want to stop and discuss anything.
Yeah, all right. Thanks, Austin. Yeah, let's go ahead and run through the sequencing. Another video, not quite as polished as that first one, but this will give you a real customized view of how we're going to operate on 22nd Street. So pictured here, we're looking west is the existing bridge. So go ahead and press play, Austin. So first thing that we're going to do is the existing bridge is going to be demolished, and then we will start the new construction inside the Union Pacific Yard on the pier tables to start working on the new eastbound bridge. You see again that balanced cantilever construction. This is Pier 2 inside the Union Pacific Yard. So concurrently, we'll be working on Pier 3, also on the eastbound bridge and the end spans. We'll also be working on the pier tables for the westbound bridge. Here in just a second, you'll see the pier tables pop up. And once the segments are complete on the eastbound bridge and the closures are tied in, then the travelers will move over to the westbound bridges, and we'll start building the segments on the westbound bridges. And once both vehicle bridges are complete, we'll come in and erect the pedestrian bridge in between. Have a little bit of a dated rendering on the pedestrian bridge. It will be the intermittent shade structures like we went through in the previous model view. But that's the overall sequence of operations on how the construction is going to unfold on 22nd Street.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, and one of the big things that we're able to build and construct this project in the time frame that we discussed, 2.5 to 3 years, is the bridge closure. And the biggest thing about that was trying to be as efficient and as safe as possible constructing these bridges in and around the Union Pacific Rail Yard over Aviation. We've done a lot of analysis and discussion on what that's going to look like, and we have a detour map, and we'll have a lot more information as we move forward. We'll be working hand in hand with the Main Street folks on business questions related to these detour maps. We'll be able to provide, specific routes and assistance in that manner with them. The getting the bridge out of the way also takes that bridge that is currently load rated, load restricted, out of service, and just provides a safer environment for our constructors to build this and get it done and open back up as soon as we can. We do have some contact information here. Again, I'm Austin Westnetzer. I'm the project manager. You met Eric and Michael, and then we also have Steve and Brenton's information here as well. We are going to have additional public meetings tomorrow night at 900 South Randolph Way at 5:30 to 6:30. And then once we return after the holiday, December 6th at the First Assembly of God, during the lunch hour to provide accessibility for folks to attend if they aren't able to attend after work during the day. And then also the final one will be December 8th. That'll be another evening meeting. And then as we progress through the holidays and we get nearer to construction, we will be hosting a public open house pre-construction to really go into the final details and really show exactly what things are going to look like and when construction's going to begin. Other than that, I think we're done. So if we have questions, Erica, do you want to?
Yeah, we have some questions in the chat. First one from Michael. What happened to the plan with a grade separated pedestrian facility that was connected to aviation bikeway? This version will not be an improvement to the existing sidewalk.
So the grade separated pedestrian structures, we're still providing the access points along with the Hawk through Wilson Avenue through connecting to the path there. Some of the value engineering design changes that we implemented, that the original structure was very unique and very highly specialized, providing the same uniqueness to the pedestrian bridge being in the middle of the two structures, providing that same kind of consistent look and aesthetic to that. I feel meets the soul of that project. It's the same width, provides the same access points. One of the VEs, one of the issues out there on the pathway on the east side of the project, we're actually going to be fixing the flooding and ponding issues as you travel underneath the ramps that connect Aviation to 22nd Street. So the overall pedestrian and cycling routes will be safer.
And with that, can you just explain what value engineering is for everyone?
Yeah, so as a part of the pre-construction time frame, we've worked hand in hand with our contractor and our designers to evaluate and not cut out scope, but to make sure that we're building and designing the most efficient and cost-effective structure that we could build that still met the needs of the traveling public and the bicycle and pedestrian facilities. And so that's what we did.
Thanks, Austin. Next question from Michael as well. How will I get to the sidewalk if I live north of Plummer?
So if you live north, or if you live north of 22nd Street on Plummer, Plummer right now actually does not have connectivity to 22nd Street. You have to cross or it doesn't have direct connectivity. You have to cross the ramp now. With the VE or the design that we're moving forward with, Plummer will be directly connected to 22nd Street. There will be options that will have connections to the path that would be the same way that you would get there now, and you will also have direct access to 22nd Street now.
Okay, does the pedestrian walkway share with bicyclists from Emilio?
Yes, it's a both bicycle and pedestrian facility.
From Michael, is this plan approved by City Council?
The ward offices and the city manager's office, they've all been aware of the design changes that we've been entertaining.
Yeah, scroll down. Will traffic flow be maintained during construction, or will there be a detour from Lori Lance? I think we answered that.
Yeah,
go
ahead.
And then from Michael, the original bridge will be destroyed before construction begins?
That is correct.
From Steve Taylor, will the railroad operations be affected?
No, and that's one of the reasons why we chose to provide or demo the bridge first, is to provide an efficient way for our constructors to get in and operate in the yard. It's a main hub that is a focal point for Union Pacific, so we need to make sure that our operations are the least amount of impact to their yard. And along with this VE, we've actually reduced the number of piers down to one pier set in their yard, so they now have even more space in their yard once we're done with construction.
For Michael, how will detour routes be enforced?
That's a great question. As a part of the analysis of this full closure, and as we move forward, we've run analysis with our partners at PAG to develop these detour routes, and it's something that we're going to be constantly evaluating and adjusting our models as we see the traffic change. As the bridge is closed, people are going to start to figure out their ways that they want to take, and we're well aware that there's probably going to be some traffic calming measures that are going to need to be implemented in some of the neighborhoods, especially the one north of 22nd Street on the east end, along Plummer there. So we'll be constantly monitoring it. It's not we're shut the bridge down and we're going to forget about it. It's going to be an ongoing effort throughout the length of the construction process.
And Austin, if I can add to that, Eric and I will make sure that that detour route for the duration of the closure, we are going to work closely with our permitting section to make sure that there's not work occurring along the detour route that is going to cause travel lane restrictions, along the detour routes. So that's something that Eric and I will be working on very closely with the permit section to make sure there's no permits issued for that.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Next question from more of a comment back to his earlier question. Michael, Plummer does have pedestrian access to 22nd.
Yeah, correct. You have to cross the ramp in order to get to it. So we'll have a direct, and maybe Paul, I'm going to stop presenting. Can you bring up your model, please? Yep, there it is. So Plummer will now have that direct connection to 22nd Street, and then we're still working on some of the detailing of the hot crossing there, but we believe that hot crossing is going to extend clear across 22nd Street. So the existing paths that are on the north side of 22nd Street there will be able to connect pedestrians to that crossing and onto the bridge.
Thank you. From Michael, if this project is receiving a RAISE grant, why are pedestrian features being removed to reduce the cost?
The pedestrian, we're not removing the features. We still have the bike and ped bridge, and that's a key part of this project, is providing that connectivity. And Paul, if you could scroll around, it's okay. The uniqueness of the original pedestrian bridge was that it was in the middle, and it did connect down to the path, and we still have that connectivity along Wilson, and then as well as the same path on the east end or the west end of the project. And instead of having to ride down a switchback of stairs, you'll be able to just connect along the center of the roadway here.
Next question from Lori Lance. How will access to Cherry Bell and the main post office be maintained?
So we're currently evaluating how we're going to handle the traffic during the closure, and to not create a cul-de-sac in which vehicles can't back their way out or get out of if they've gone too far on 22nd Street. So that'll be part of our traffic control plan. And as we move closer to construction, we're going to be working through a lot of those details to make sure that those types of concerns are addressed.
Thank you. From Jose, is this bridge going to have any art display or any other beautification opportunities?
Yeah, so the pedestrian shade structures right now currently maintain the same artwork that was initially designed for the project. And I believe that we actually are going to have some more opportunities on the west end or on the east end to provide more opportunities for some type of artwork. And as we move closer to construction and work out some of the final details on that, then we'll be able to reach out to our community and get some involvement and some input on them.
Thank you. This one maybe for Britton and Steve, from Jose. How are you all helping the businesses that will be impacted during the next 3 years around that area?
Yeah, thanks. There's a lot of things that we provide within our services. Again, going back to every business is unique in terms of what they need. There'll be businesses that will have some reduction in their cash flow, i.e. their revenue. Other people will not. So it is unique in for each individual business. To give you an idea of our overall program and how it breaks down, essentially falls into 3 categories. We have our business outreach folks, Steve being the person that you'll get to know very well on this project. They provide all the information that comes from the contractor, the city, the traffic updates, the related, the fact sheets have been provided, timelines, notices, different types of things that can come. Construction is very fluid, so there's lots of things that can change and occur. And part of that is sending that information out via email, oftentimes even making phone calls, pounding on the doors and other kinds of things, again, depending on the nature and the scope of that. To give you an idea, we sent out 46,000 emails last year as part of our team to our various projects that we're on across the region. So a lot of information flows. We coordinate with the businesses. It's a two-way coordination in terms of timeliness, response to concerns, and other kinds of things around access, parking, utilities, scheduling, as it relates to the construction and other kinds of stuff. So businesses will give information to us that we'll take back to the construction team that meets weekly. And in many cases, before that meeting even takes place, to get information right back to the business specifically, or have people within the team that can answer those very technical types of answers that might be necessary to be addressed. We work with the contractors to solve, unforeseen issues that pop up all the time, water issues or utility related stuff, sometimes safety related things. It's a very fluid kind of thing. So the outreach person is involved in that from start to finish. And is a vital part of that. So you put Steve on speed dial. You can also put me on that as well. We also will meet with you and talk to you about the different consulting services that we provide. I'm not going to go into great detail about that right now. It is on the website where it goes into. We've provided about 15,000 unique deliverables to businesses. Not every business works with the direct consulting team. We've had over 2,000 work directly with it. We've, again, delivered over 15,000 unique deliverables, but these can fall into all sorts of different areas: financial analysis, social media, marketing, operations, customer service. There's workshops that we also provide. We have a person in-house that does graphic related stuff, access flyers. One of the biggest things that would be important for everybody involved from the business community, of course, is having a unique map that we will design for you that you can utilize in your social media, on your website, mailers to your customers, what have you, to make sure that people are very familiar with the best ways to arrive to your business. That would be something that everybody should consider. Again, none of these cost anything. And the last kind of area is our resources. We have a resource guide that has over 2,000 unique resources for the business community here in Southern Arizona. That's on our website now. We have lots of tip sheets. We have lots of other fact sheets that are very helpful for people to understand. A lot of people have never been through a construction project. Many of you have, if you've been down here to the construction of Keno. And those are just some of the things. We have some unique opportunities to work with the individual businesses, and there's been some very custom tailored types of modules and services that we provided for unique opportunities. That's just sort of scraping the surface. That's why we would love to meet with you and dive deeper into that. The website will help you understand some of that as it relates to what we provide. And we're here, and we encourage you to reach out early and get with the team and let us look at what your condition and situation is, and answer the questions. And we're available anytime. I hope that answers the questions that you were thinking. I will add one other thing. We cannot provide you financial assistance. It's a violation of our state gift clause. So we cannot write you a check. We cannot pay for direct advertising or direct compensation or anything related to that. Obviously, if you had some sort of acquisition of property, that's something completely different. But the program does not allow us to do any kind of direct compensation in that regard. We are here to provide other types of services that fall within our state gift clause. And I can go into greater detail as it relates to that. Again, all our services are free. We are not consultants for life, but we are here for you through the duration of this project, however long it takes. And I hope that answers the question. If not, please just give me a call, and that hotline goes right to my cell, and I'll be happy to spend more time with you. Thank you.
Britton.
Thanks, Brent.
Thank you. Next question from Kevin. During construction, will there be access to aviation from 22nd?
So there will not be access to 22nd Street from aviation. The detour routes that will be implemented, the ramps that connect aviation, westbound aviation to eastbound 22nd Street, from westbound 22nd Street to westbound aviation, and from eastbound aviation to eastbound 22nd Street will all be closed for the duration of the project and for the future. And one of the unique things about where we started to evaluate this project from a different lens, a different perspective, getting into the weeds, we started to realize that we're going to have a new bridge that's going to be able to carry the traffic, carry the pedestrians, and there's some major safety concerns with the ramps, especially the ramp from westbound aviation to, or westbound 22nd Street to westbound aviation, as well as the eastbound aviation left turn onto eastbound 22nd Street. Those safety concerns were evaluated in our traffic analysis for the detour and for the future evaluation down 40 years from now. And we realized that we had the ability to create a safer space along aviation and to remove those connections. And the driving force was making the traveling public and providing a safer way to get across town, and a safer way to travel on 22nd Street. And a big thing also was the flooding that occurs on the bike and ped path on the east side of the bridge, or on the east side of aviation. We're able to mitigate that and remove that conflict. So no longer will that portion of the path be underwater during certain times of the year.
Thanks. Okay, from Michael, the previous plan maintained a way to get from westbound 22nd to westbound Aviation.
Right, and so like I just mentioned, the westbound traffic on 22nd Street will now be able to, all traffic will be able to connect up and over Aviation, take a right on Keno, and then access westbound Aviation in a much safer manner than before.
From Jose, pedestrian bridge will go all the way across to 22nd in Tucson.
No, so the pedestrian bridge, it ends at Wilson Avenue before Tucson Boulevard, and it does go clear over to and it's before Cherry Bell, but it's not all the way.
From Chris, will hot crossing signals be installed on both ends of the bridge at the pedestrian cyclist crosswalk?
Yeah, and so on the screen we're showing right now, this is the west end of the project, and due to the proximity to the Cherry Bell light, there will be a hot crossing only on the westbound 22nd Street that will connect there, and there isn't the model doesn't show, but there's a path that goes down and underneath the that connects to Campbell, and then also the sidewalk and connectivity moving further to the west. And then on the east end of the project, like I mentioned earlier, the Hawks will we're evaluating that to make sure that the Hawks can go from the south side of 22nd Street all the way to the north side of 22nd Street at Wilson Avenue.
Thanks. Michael, when will the diagrams of the new plan be added to the project website? Now that we've had our first public meeting, we'll work on getting all of this documentation up in this week. Also from Michael, why is it considered safe for a pedestrian to have to cross into the median of a high-speed 6-lane road, but it is not considered safe for a car to go from 22nd to Aviation? Also, I've never witnessed flooding on the Aviation bike path.
So the connection from 22nd Street to Aviation on the north side of Palmer there, or the north side of 22nd Street, the weave distance, so the distance from in which vehicles have an opportunity to either merge onto Aviation or merge off of Aviation onto the Keno off-ramp is too short. Old design standards, you know, have been updated since then, and looking at it now, that would not be a permissible distance. So we are removing that that safety concern.
Losing access to Aviation from 22nd is a huge bummer.
And Andrew, I'll speak to that, and we understand that. The great thing is that we are going to have now a bridge that can handle all fire trucks, all transit, all school buses. They have to move away from 22nd Street, and they have to detour around. We're now going to be able to have that access for folks, so they're going to be able to use the bridge. The pedestrian access right now, I mean, riding up and over on the sidewalks or walking up and over it, it's arduous. It's not comfortable. Standing up there is not comfortable. So providing this unique opportunity to, in a safe space to travel across that, I believe that we're going to provide that connectivity that will really be a betterment, and to have the issues resolved on Aviation to make that area safer. It really opened up some bigger design opportunities for the structures themselves, and we feel that we're making that area just safer.
Okay, just a couple more comments. Any more questions? Feel free to unmute as well if you have any questions to ask. Again, just a reminder, we do have the sign-in sheet. Please provide your email addresses so we can get you guys any updates throughout this project. One more from Michael. Will the native plant garden north of 22nd west of Tucson be maintained?
Native plant garden north of 22nd, west of. Yeah, so the northern portion, that's, yeah.
Was this design plan created with community input?
The community, we had a CAC that was involved from the very beginning of the project. A lot of the artwork and the importance of that, the connectivity for the bike and pedestrian facility, the dedicated bike and pedestrian facility, was really important. And looking through all that information, we felt that we needed to keep it, and we needed to make sure that it was still a part of this project. And I consider it the soul of the project because it's very unique, and it's something that you don't see often, to have the pedestrians having this unique experience being in the middle of the two bridges. So
Other question from Chris. The neighborhoods along 22nd Street will lose their direct access to downtown and westbound I-10 just as the Downtown Links project is being completed. That's a huge negative against this project.
so they're not losing their direct access. The having those two interchanges that close to each other, the Keno interchange is there. The travel times, the queues, the capacity of the new structure will provide a safer, more reliable, more efficient way for the traveling public to get from, if you're at Tucson Boulevard wanting to go downtown or to I-10, you can travel up and over the bridge now safely. You can make the right-hand turn north onto Keno, safely make the left-hand turn onto Aviation, and you're downtown. The routes are there. I know from first look, it seems like it's a big ask. We've looked at it. We're going to continue to look at it, and hope that you see that.
We have about 5 more minutes from Michael. The off-ramp from the 22nd to Aviation would only be unsafe if the intersection with 22nd and Plummer is maintained. We should maintain the off-ramp but delete the 90-degree intersection.
Sorry, I'm reading your question, Michael. 1 second. Off ramp from 22nd Street to Aviation. Save the intersection. I think currently with Plummer being the only connection that Plummer has, they connect to Aviation as a ride out, and the only connection from 22nd Street to there is a ride in. And now we're going to be able to provide a connection point to 22nd Street directly as a ride out, so they're not able to, they don't have to go onto Aviation.
Okay, from Chris. Have you ever tried to turn on to Aviation from Keno in either direction? It takes forever and will be even worse with this additional traffic.
So Chris, like I said, it's something that, we evaluated the traffic analysis. It wasn't a coin flip or anything like that. It took a lot of time. We worked with our regional partners to to model the closure and to understand what it would, what those impacts would be. And we felt that the capacities on aviation or on Keno can handle it. And obviously the timing and the signalization of that will be monitored, and it'll be something that we have to continue to adapt to. And as we move through construction, we'll be able to, if this is our permanent condition, once the bridges are done, we'll be able to kind of have some real-time data to see how to best to make sure that traffic does flow. So we understand your concerns, and it's something that we'll be monitoring throughout the project.
Thanks, Austin. I've popped the sign-in sheet again in the chat. This meeting again is recorded and will be on the project website, likely tomorrow. One more question. How will this project eventually connect with future RTA 22nd widening project?
Right. So Jose, this is from the 22nd Street corridor goes from I-10 all the way to Tucson Boulevard. The first phase was the Keno overpass, which is complete. This project will connect from Tucson Boulevard to Keno as 3 lanes in each direction, and then from Keno to I-10. That's a project that began with some DCRs some time ago, and it is still being evaluated on how we're going to move forward with that.
From Michael, will the new bridge have a different traffic noise level for nearby neighborhoods?
Michael, that's a good question, and I believe that we have some noise data that we had to prepare as a part of our environmental assessment. And if you want to reach out to me directly, I can provide you some more detailed information on that. I don't have it handy right now.
Angie, I see that you have your hand up. Do you have a question? Angie?
Can you hear me?
Yes. A little bit of an echo, but we can hear you.
Okay. Well, it's pretty bad. Did I understand correctly that the native garden just west of Tucson Boulevard will be kept?
Correct.
Okay, I don't understand why then those homes and families were displaced, because I had understood that when that happened, it was because this bridge would be recreated and built to the north. Do you have background on that?
Yeah, so I guess if you Paul, if you can move over there. So the new bridge does get the eastbound or westbound bridge does get built north of where the existing bridge is at now. By kept, what I mean is that there will still be the portions of the north side of 22nd Street that will be upkept as, that type of landscaping and that area there. It will be modified, but the intent is to have that landscaping up there. So sorry if I confused on that, but you are correct about the bridge being built to the north.
Okay, so we basically displaced families for the purpose of a native garden.
No, the bridge gets built to the north. You were correct in what you said, and I'm sorry that I confused the There'll be landscaping on the north side.
Thanks for the question, Angie. We've come to 6:30. If there are no additional questions, we'll wrap up this meeting. There are 3 more opportunities, all in person. If you or someone you know wants to attend, the next one is tomorrow at Parks and Rec at Randolph, their administration building. And look for this information on our project website. Thank you all for joining us tonight.
Thank you.